Channel 2, KPRC TV, Houston. The following program is pre-recorded.
Channel 2, KPRC TV. Now, Channel 2 News Nightcast with Ron Stone, Jan Carson, Doug Johnson, Craig Roberts, and the Channel 2 News Team.
Rising water from Sims Bayou flooded a daycare center tonight in southeast Houston, forcing the evacuation of some 20 children. Good evening, everyone. The rampaging Sims Bayou is the worst reminder tonight of the hurricane that swept through the Houston area today.
Children forced out of the daycare center by floodwaters are shaken and upset, but they're okay. And BB Burns is out in southeast Houston with more on that and the rest of the story. BB?
I'm standing in Martin Luther King Boulevard near Sims Bayou. Actually, the bayou is really about 2 blocks away, but the banks are right up in this neighborhood. Now, this afternoon, we could not get on the other side of the Sims Bayou Bridge to show you what it looks like in the Crestmont subdivision. And this afternoon, for that dramatic rescue that you heard about of the children at the daycare center, we were able to get over there in some fire department rescue boats. And we saw lots of wet people rescued.
Yeah. Okay, we need you to slide back as far as you can, okay?
Fire department airboats rescued about 20 children from the Sunshine Daycare Center a few blocks south of the bayou. 2-year-old Trevon Johnson did not expect a boat ride tonight, but he was glad to get one. He was just one of many Crestmont residents who, thanks to the Houston Fire Department, made it out of the water tonight. What's the status on your house right now?
Flooded. Every room is flooded.
Where are you going to go tonight?
I don't really know that we're supposed to be boarding the bus. I don't know where they're going to take us.
Probably to a shelter then?
Yeah,
How long do you think it'll be before you get back to your homes?
I don't really even know.
Hopefully tomorrow, but
yeah.
But we have a lot of cleaning up and a lot of damage to do because even the beds are wet. The water is basically like up over the bathtub in the bathroom, and in the kitchen it's halfway up.
Firemen also rescued a baby on a respirator who needs electricity to survive. Most of this area has been without power all afternoon. A boat trip through the neighborhood shows just what rain can do. All you can see are the tops of abandoned cars, and it could be several days before all the water is gone. About 50 people from this subdivision were hauled in by the airboats and then taken to a metro bus, and they are now at St. Benedict's Catholic Church in southwest Houston, where they will spend the night. They're very hopeful that they will be able to come back here tomorrow. I just made a very, very bad mistake, stepped into a fire ant bed. As you know, they crawl out of the water here, so this has been a rather excruciating live shot.
Well, take care of it. Get out of there and get rid of those ants. Thanks a lot, BB.
Rain from the storm has been as bad as was predicted. Record rainfall totals in some areas. Let's get a quick check now on any remaining hot spots from Jim Green at the Harris County Flood Control District. We've looked at Sims Bayou. Where else is it bad, Mr. Green?
Ron, that's pretty well it tonight. Brays Bayou has been high. Of course, the Clear Creek area down in the very far south part of the county has also been high. But right now, Brays Bayou is the area that we're watching closely.
Okay, what's the situation with it? Is this going to start going down tonight or what?
It is receding right now, Ron, and it will continue to recede on through the evening.
We're still getting reports of some rain, sporadic rainfall falling around the Channel 2 area here. Is that going to have any bad effect on this or not?
I don't think so, Ron. In looking at the magnitude of the clouds that are out there right now, I think that it's just going to be just intermittent showers from on through the evening, but nothing of any consequence.
So all this should be gone by this time tomorrow, you hope?
I sure hope so.
Okay, Mr. Green, thank you very much. Tim Green down at the Flood Control District.
And now let's check with Doug Johnson to see if the remnants of Chantal are going to cause us any problems later tonight.
I like Jim's forecast a whole lot better. Let's look at radar for just a moment because we have one last line coming through with this system. This is the little line we showed you earlier this evening around 6 o'clock that was affecting the Bay Area and right across the coastline itself. This line stretches from roughly Polk County across downtown Houston down into Matagorda County and is moving toward the west-northwest at about 10 to 12 miles per hour. This should be the last line tonight. Everything is getting a little bit lighter. And right now, the center of what's left of Chantal is up near, if you were ever a campfire girl and camped up there at Rosebud, that's just about where it is, Rosebud.
Clearing out tonight.
It is, moving away.
That's good news, Doug. Well, the Clear Lake area earlier today took quite a beating during the height of the storm. Rain fell in sheets for most of the morning, leaving NASA Road 1 and its side streets flooded. The Johnson Space Center was closed to visitors and employees. Gusting winds bent telephone poles along Highway 3, forcing repair crews to swim to their jobs this evening. Cleanup continues at this hotel after water poured through a leaky ceiling earlier today, disrupting just about everything going on there. They're still keeping a very close watch on Clear Creek tonight. The worst of it, however, appears to be over.
There are some shelters open tonight for those who need a roof over their heads. In Pasadena, the Trinity Baptist Church is open this evening. In Friendswood, the Westwood Elementary School is open. St. Luke's and St. Benedict's Catholic churches are shelters in Harris County. Now, Houston Lighting and Power has been busy all day long repairing downed power lines and blown transformers. They've had all kinds of problems. About 300,000 homes and businesses were without power early today. The report tonight as of 10 o'clock is that 89,000 homes are still in the dark.
It's going to be a long night for them.
Yep.
Still ahead, some ironic pre-crash joking from Delta's Flight 1141.
And up next, Chantel causes some terminal boredom for hundreds of Houston visitors.
You know, you'll find everything you need to get ready for school in the new Eckerd Teen Packs. They've got hairspray, deodorant, mouthwash, and tons of other cool.
You can see it in the artistry of every Howard Miller heirloom quality clock.
Well, the storm sent a lot of employees home pretty early today.
It also stranded hundreds of travelers. At one point, though, the airport was officially open. Very few planes were landing or taking off. Bill Pounders has spent the evening with some frustrated travelers. He's live now out at Hobby Airport. Bill?
We do know tonight that American and Southwest were about the only major carriers operating out of Hobby Airport tonight. Ron and Jan, it's simply been one of those nights that employees here just as soon forget. Frustration, confusion, uncertainty, put all those things together and that sums it up.
They should have told us beforehand.
8 o'clock at night. Upset and exhausted, Coral Turner and her friend sit at a Hobby Airport restaurant eating dinner. 10 hours ago, the airline told them on the phone their flight home to New Orleans was on schedule. When they arrived at the airport was closed.
I think it's terrible. Yes. Because they should have told us beforehand. We would have stayed in our hotel.
Bad weather shut down Hobby at 8:30 a.m. Once reopened, a power outage shut down airlines again. Many carriers announced they would resume service tomorrow morning. Tonight, the few airlines that were flying in and out of here were running very late, which tested the nerves of everyone, including flight crews, long after they were on the ground.
$200,000 a year.
Depending on the airline, passengers whose flights were canceled had few choices. Catch a flight out of Intercontinental, sleep at the airport, or check into a hotel. The Hobby Hilton was having a busy night.
I'm supposed to be in New York tomorrow morning, so then that's going to be delayed. So it's just one of those things that happens. You just have to grin and bear it.
We just decided we'll start new tomorrow.
How do you feel about that?
Tired.
So what's it like when the lights go out at the airport? Well, the terminals that keep your reservations, they don't work. The ramps that go to the airplanes, they don't work. It's not a very pretty sight, and that's the way it was here today. Intercontinental did not experience the same misfortune. They were open for all day, even though there were a few delays. Tomorrow, Hobby is going to be in full business. Tomorrow's another day. Jan?
Yeah, they'll be making up for lost time tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Bill. Well, rain has spelled trouble for folks in Liberty County for months now. Recent flooding has forced people out of their homes twice in the past 2 months. But tonight, the Trinity is well within its banks, and so far, Liberty County has been spared the wrath of Chantal. Families living close to the river have left their homes, and this family is living in a bus for the time being. Things could get worse over the next few days, though, if runoff does become a problem. Well, the hurricane made landfall at High Island along the Texas coast this morning, but luckily not much damage to report from there. A few dozen folks in Baytown had very brief stays at local shelters, and then they were able to go on home. As for Galveston, rains from Chantal set a new record there. 4 inches in as many hours caused the worst street flooding the island has seen in 20 years. But the rains passed, the water receded, and damage was very minor there.
In other news, a duplex caught fire in the Montrose area early this evening, and 2 people are homeless tonight. Jack Cato reports.
When firemen got here to the 1800 block of West Main, there was flames from 3 windows downstairs and smoke pouring out upstairs. Fran Thorne lives downstairs. She said she'd put some clothes in the dryer and a few minutes later smelled smoke. Karen Steele lives upstairs.
And my dog ran upstairs and there was a lot of smoke, and I ran back upstairs and got her and crawled down the crawl space.
Karen was lucky. She got her pet out. Mrs. Thorne's 2 dogs and a cat were found by firemen in the back room of the house, suffocated. Tragedy caused by the simple overheating of a clothes dryer. Jack Cato, Channel 2 News Nightcast.
Next, a civil rights rejection.
And Doug will return for an extended forecast.
A lot of people think that one peach is just about as good as any other peach, but it's not. These peaches are fancy, large, premium quality, the only kind Randall's will accept. At Randall's, we search all over the world to find the best crops. Once we do, we have strict specifications. If they don't come up to our standard...
I'm at Giant Worthington Chevrolet, and these savings are from the factory sticker price. An 89 Chevy Beretta GT saved $3,175. An 89 Chevy Corsica saved $3,200. An 89 Chevy Camaro RS saved $3,500. An 89 Chevy Camaro IROC saved $4,000. An 89 Chevy S10 Blazer saved $3,800. It's Giant Worthington Chevrolet. We're on the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft, open till midnight.
A judge today released the cockpit conversation of the crew of Delta Flight 1141. That plane crashed at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport last year, apparently because the crew did not set the wing flaps for takeoff. 14 people died in the crash of the 727. The crew survived. As the plane rolled to take off, the crew joked rather than engage in the work they were supposed to do.
We forgot something on our first leg today. We forgot to discuss about the dating habits of our flight attendants so we could get it on the recorder, you know, in case we crashed, then the media would have some kind of a juicy tidbit.
I think they'd have nothing on
We got to leave something for our wife and children to listen to.
Crew members also discussed politics. Then the tape ends with a scream as the plane crashed. Delta has fired the captain, the co-pilot, and the flight engineer. The people who threatened to kill American hostage Joseph Scipio decided to extend the deadline of his execution by 48 hours. The Revolutionary Justice Organization announced the reprieve after Scipio's Iranian wife pled with his captors.
Please, don't execute him, please. That's what I want to tell them, that's all.
The White House held urgent meetings today, and NBC says the U.S. sent diplomatic signals to Iran, telling them Iran would be held responsible for the hostages and move the carrier Coral Sea out of Alexandria, Egypt, to stand by off Lebanon. Yesterday, a Shiite group claimed to have executed hostage William Higgins, and they've threatened to kill others.
A major political setback tonight for President Bush. The Senate Judiciary Committee killed his nomination of William Lucas as top civil rights enforcer. Lucas went to the Senate today in search of one more supporter to win the post, but he lost on a tie vote. Critics say Lucas did not know enough law.
He's lacking in experience and qualifications. His managerial accomplishments are debatable.
Bill Lucas was asked some basic fundamental questions. And Bill Lucas demonstrated he didn't know the answers.
What really damaged Lucas, a former sheriff and county executive in Wayne County, Michigan, was his disastrous showing during the committee hearings when he couldn't answer some basic civil rights questions. Republicans say the rejection of Lucas is what they call raw politics. Others say he just wasn't qualified for the job. And while we were feeling the aftermath of a hurricane today, there was some rumbling going on near the Oregon-Washington border. An earthquake hit about 10 miles northeast of Portland. Nobody hurt, no serious damage. And Doug is back with a little bit more on The disappearing
Yes.
Chantal.
Barely disappearing at that. Have you ever noticed that if somebody told you there's a mosquito in the room, you imagine you hear it? BB's ants are beginning to bother me. Yes,
right?
I wish you hadn't said anything about it until this was all over. Well, this is the way radar is looking right now. We got one more band moving across the Houston area, and it seems to be breaking up with the cool of evening as expected, but it stretches from Polk County way up to the northeast, up in this area, and then in almost an unbroken line across downtown Houston. Heaviest rain is on the northeast side, and then extending down into Matagorda County. Generally moving to the northwest, but very, very slowly. The bulk of all the activity has moved off to the north of us. 76 degrees is the temperature right now at Intercontinental Airport, also 76 at Hull on the west side, 78 at Hobby, 82 for downtown Galveston, 80 for Beachwater temperature. Barometric pressure still low, but it's been climbing for the last several hours. 29.83, relative humidity 88%. Wind is now to the south-southwest at 12 miles per hour. A low this morning of 75 and a high of only 77, a 2-degree spread. Well, this is the activity being stirred up by the remains of Chantal tonight, moving up to near Rosebud, Texas, not too far from Temple, Waco, south of Dallas-Fort Worth. Rain is spreading off to the east, not all in association with the tropical depression. By the way, it's been downgraded to a tropical depression. Frontal system is stirring up some of the activity, or at least helping, and scattered showers also dot the area out through New Mexico up into Colorado and the adjacent areas of Wyoming. Much needed rain out there still. And a Pacific frontal system is moving in and making a little bit of a difference. Rain is falling tonight at Billings, Montana, 67 there, 60 at San Francisco. 100 is the current reading at Phoenix, Arizona. 76 with rain falling and about a 25-mile-an-hour wind at Waco. 75 at Des Moines, 66 up at Burlington, Vermont. 77 reported at Roanoke, Virginia. Cloudy skies there. 84 down at Miami, and skies are partly cloudy to mostly cloudy with some thunder and lightning off in the distance. Well, we get rid of one, we got a new one. Dean is a tropical storm. Highest sustained winds about 50 to 55 miles per hour, still way out in the Atlantic. This is the threshold of the Caribbean right in this area. And this longitudinal line or latitudinal line indicates what we usually refer to as the envelope. So it's still within it, but it should start curving up to the northwest over the next 2 or 3 days. Right now at latitude 16.8 north and longitude 55 degrees west. It's a long way out there and nothing to worry about yet. 70% chance of rain overnight, 73 degrees for an overnight low, 6:41 for sunrise in the morning, 60% chance of rain, 85 degrees for a high tomorrow, 50% chance of rain in the afternoon. Now, most of the showers tonight and in the morning are going to be very light ones and mostly involved with that band that's now moving across the city. Still have a 30% chance of rain on Thursday. Friday, partly cloudy, 10% chance of rain. And as we go into the weekend, much deserved after all we've been through. Partly cloudy skies, no chance of rainfall, a low of 73 and a high temperature of 93 degrees. I had said something earlier in the season about an early fall. I hope this wasn't it.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's going to take 2 more days for all of us to move out of here?
Yeah, it's going to take a while. It's just going to draw moisture up with it. Plus, we have an upper-level low that's working on us. So it's not going to be bad tomorrow, but we'll have scattered thunderstorms.
So we don't really need that much more rain, do we?
No, we're ready for a lot of sunshine and cool temperatures. Low humidity. Anything else you want?
The Doug Johnson wish list. Okay, we'll talk more later about that. Astros got off to a fast start against the Reds tonight. We'll see if they held on.
And boys will be boys at the Oiler camp. Sports is next.
The evaluation committee is in your office. This is my husband, Paul. He's under a lot of pressure. But now he's taking charge of his health, eating right by cutting down on cholesterol and saturated fat. That's why I cook with Puritan, with no cholesterol and proven 94% saturated fat-free. Better than any other kind of oil.
Your wife called sneakers before dinner?
Hey, Mr. Principal, carry your books?
Anytime.
Paul's feeling great, and I am too.
Puritan, make it your oil for life.
Decades of testing have given Volvos a much-envied reputation for safety, with features like a steel safety cage and crumple zones, front and rear. Of course, safety has its price, low. The Volvo 740 is actually less than any of these models. Now, for a limited time, prices are even lower during Volvo Value Days at your Houston area Volvo dealers.
Eagle has gone mad. Gene Peterson here to tell you about Eagle's Summer Madness Sale. The heat's made us slash prices on every suit and sport coat in our huge inventory. Wool blend suits incredible at $88. Our top-of-the-line famous label suits priced at $199.90, none higher. Thousands of dress shirts and ties half off and more, including 100% cotton pinpoint Oxford shirts, $19. Say no to high menswear prices. Save during Eagle's Summer Madness Sale.
Making ends meet hasn't been easy with 3 of us at home. Jobs are pretty scarce around here, especially since neither my husband or me finished school. Things are going to be different for this one. He's going to stay in high school if I have to tie him to his chair. Sometimes I wish someone had done me that way.
Craig Roberts continues to watch the Oilers play a little football, and you're winning baseball games for us,
That's right. If the Dodgers would do their part, we'd be okay, right? I'll tell you what. The Astros get the road trip off to a very nice start tonight. Rick Rhoden gets his first win as an Astro. Astros shut out the Reds 5-0. Not bad, right? Let's look at some of the highlights. Rhoden was in trouble most of the night, but he pitched out of it. Anderson and Dave Smith finished it up for him. Strikes out Benzinger right there. Now, one of the young guns we told you about, Ken Caminetti, got 2 runs home in the first. Bases loaded, seeing eye single up the middle. Biggio and Ramirez score 2-0. Then in the 6th, as Yogi said, it was deja vu all over again. Bases loaded, Billy Hatcher, same thing. 2 more come home. Glenn Davis hit home run number 23 in the 8th. 5-0 Astros win. You saw it here on Channel 2. Did the Dodgers help out? No. Fernando Valenzuela throws the bunt away at third. Run scores. Giants led 3-1. New Dodger Cal Daniels with the longest homer of the night. I mean, it's way back, deep center field, but the Giants still led 3-2. And this saved it in the 8th for the Giants. Still 3-2. Matt Williams robs Mickey Hatcher, saves the run. Giants get 2 more in the 9th. They win at 5-2, and the Astros, they stay 1 back of the Giants. All right, the Padres tonight beat the Braves 5-2 in 11 innings. Montreal over Pittsburgh. Chicago keeps pace with the Expos. They're still 2 back as they beat the Phillies tonight. And look at the Mets. Broke their 8-game losing streak in big fashion. All right, in the American League, Harold Baines already paying dividends for the Texas Rangers. 2 out in the 9th. Rangers losing, Rangers winning. Baines 2-run homer. Texas 4-3 over Detroit. Now watch this one. Red Sox Danny Heapin left. He's got it. Whoops. Off his glove. Orioles score with a couple of the guys coming on home. 2-run score. It didn't help the Orioles. Look at the scoreboard. They drop a pair. Red Sox sweep it. Orioles have now lost 13 of 14, and Boston only a game back in the East. All right, Twins over the Yankees this afternoon, 5-4. The Rangers, as we said, beat the Tigers. Kansas City 2-1 over Toronto. Milwaukee beat the Indians tonight. In the 5th, Oakland shutting out Chicago. And in the 3rd, Seattle 4-1 over California. Now, in case you didn't hear, the Mets got their man trading for Cy Young Award winner Frank Viola. The rumored deal was done last night, right before the trading deadline. The Twins lefty, a New York native, is going to the Mets for 5 pitchers, Rick Aguilera, David West, and 3 minor leaguers. And Viola, the first Cy Young Award winner to be traded the next season. He makes his National League debut tomorrow night. At Oilers training camp, well, Mike Rozier has still not signed. Hey, but they're getting closer. Rozier's lawyer is talking to the Oilers' lawyer, and word now is they should wrap it all up tomorrow. Meantime, some of the guys who are in camp are beginning to get a little feisty. Heat and hitting will do that to you, I guess. That's Eugene Seal and Jay Pennison talking things over, and I'm sure by now they've forgotten the whole thing. Quentin Jones, slated to be a starting safety, got a scare today. No, he's not trying to imitate Captain Hook. He got a finger in the eye, but will be all right. Nice run right here by Lorenzo White right off tackle. And maybe Rozier should think about signing tonight. He better get into camp. Hey, I'll tell you what, Danny Ferry wasn't kidding, was he? The Duke All-American said on draft day he wasn't sure he would be playing. Turns out he'll be playing in Italy. Second pick in the NBA draft has decided not to play for the Los Angeles Clippers, instead opting for a 1-year deal for $1 million with the Rome team. Not a bad deal if you can get it. Hey, and finally, we've got to leave you with this from tonight's game. You saw it here. If you're a pitcher and you're going to pinch hit, learn how to run out of the box. Giants' John Robinson, the chopper. Nice slide. Unfortunately, he's only about 80 feet from first base. 10 on form, though.
Just not used to hitting the ball. That's the whole thing. Thank you very much, sir. Well, Chantel brought out the creativity of at least one seasoned weather watcher.
When we come back, we'll show you some hurricane remodeling out near Port Arthur.
These 2 suits are made in America. They're both made out of the same 100% tropical wool. They're both made in the same factory.
Now let's wrap up our storm coverage tonight with one last check with Doug.
One last check. Chantal is moving up near central Texas, headed toward Dallas-Fort Worth. Actually, it should pass over Weatherford tomorrow noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Things are going to be better for us, but we're going to have a few widely scattered thunderstorms, but that's not much more than typical for this time of the year.
Maybe some sun in the next couple of days, too.
Yeah, but maybe not a lot.
We'll cross our fingers. Thanks, Doug. Good job.
Finally tonight, a salute to the hard work of Greg Laws of the Golden Triangle, who has seen his house flooded a couple of times this year already. When Chantel started on its way, Greg started building a dike around his house. He told people he was just working on his PhD, that's personal house dike. He took pieces of tin, he buried them about 8 inches in the ground, then he wrapped it with some heavy plastic sheets that's supposed to keep the flood water out. The neighbors laugh, but by golly, it worked. No water in Greg Law's house this time around. Didn't rain in Hampshire on this storm, but it will. It will. He'll be ready. Good night, Nate.
Good night.